They don't call you out, they don't argue, they don't even need to say your name. The INFJ just looks at you and suddenly the mask you wear starts to slip. It's not confrontation, it's clarity. Because when an INFJ sees through someone, they don't expose them with words, they expose them with truth. Quietly, calmly, completely. It's the way they watch, the way their silence lingers just long enough for you to feel seen, too seen. They don't accuse you of lying, they just stop believing you. They don't warn people about who you are. Your own actions start to do that for them. The INFJ doesn't fight dirty, they simply hold up a mirror. And when you're faced with your own reflection, there's nowhere left to hide. Their intuition doesn't shout, it observes. Every micro expression, every tone change, every inconsistency, they notice it all. And when they go quiet, that's when people should worry because their silence isn't confusion, it's confirmation. They've already figured you out. They don't expose people for revenge, they do it by existing. Their calm presence alone reveals what others try so hard to conceal. And the most unnerving part, the INFJ doesn't need to convince anyone. They don't gossip. They don't spread rumors. They let energy speak. Over time, the truth comes out, and everyone realizes what the INFJ saw from the very beginning. That's their gift and their curse. They don't just see who you pretend to be, they see why. Before we begin, make sure to subscribe to BRAINY 1, where we explore the hidden psychology, emotional intelligence, and quiet strength behind INFJ minds, the rare ones who expose deception not by shouting, but by seeing. And if you've ever exposed someone just by staying silent, if your intuition has ever spoken louder than your words, comment "My silence speaks truth" below, so I'll know you're one of the few who understands that the most powerful confrontation is quiet recognition. They read micro-expressions and emotional shifts faster than anyone realizes. It's the smallest flicker, a twitch near the mouth, a glance that lingers too long, a tone that shifts for half a second, and the INFJ catches it. Most people miss it. They hear the words, the INFJ hears the energy. They notice what's not being said, the tiny cracks in the performance that reveal the truth. It's not magic, it's pattern recognition, born from empathy and observation. While others focus on what people show, the INFJ watches what they leak. They can sense tension the moment it enters a room. They can tell when someone's pretending to be confident, when a smile hides guilt, when a compliment carries envy. Their mind doesn't just see faces, it reads signals. Every shift in tone, every hesitation, every change in breathing, it's all data, and they absorb it instantly, quietly, while appearing perfectly calm. You can't lie to someone who listens with their whole being. The INFJ isn't guessing, they're decoding. It's how they protect themselves in a world full of masks. They learned early that words are often disguises, so they trained their intuition to listen between the lines. That's why people often feel seen around them. Not because the INFJ invades privacy, but because they notice the emotional truth hiding in plain sight. And yet, they never expose it right away. They let people reveal themselves fully. They play along, nod gently, observe. They let the mask slip naturally, because it always does. The more someone talks, the more their energy betrays them. The INFJ doesn't confront, they simply understand. And once they see through someone, it's over. The relationship shifts, the dynamic changes, quietly but permanently. Their perception is both a gift and a burden. They can't unsee deception once it's noticed. They carry the weight of knowing who's pretending, who's sincere, who's hiding pain behind charm. And while they never use this insight to manipulate, it gives them an edge no one can fake. Because while everyone else is distracted by the surface, the INFJ is already reading the truth underneath. Every blink, every breath, every silence. They don't need proof. The energy tells them everything. And by the time you wonder if they've figured you out, they already have. Their silence makes dishonest people uncomfortable and reveal themselves. The INFJ's silence isn't emptiness, it's exposure. When they go quiet, it's not because they don't know what to say, it's because they're watching, observing, letting the truth breathe. Dishonest people hate that silence. They fidget, overtalk, overexplain. They fill the air with words, trying to control a space the INFJ has already mastered with stillness. That's the secret. Silence makes masks crack faster than confrontation ever could. Most people think power comes from speaking first. The INFJ knows it comes from saying nothing. They let the silence hang long enough for hidden guilt to surface. They notice the nervous laughter, the darting eyes, the tone that suddenly rises. The longer they stay quiet, the louder the truth becomes, because silence, when held with confidence, is pressure, the kind that dishonest people can't stand. They don't need to accuse anyone. They don't need proof. They just let people talk themselves into exposure. The INFJ's calm presence acts like a mirror, reflecting back the tension others try to hide. Someone lies, the INFJ doesn't react. They just pause, smile faintly, and that silence feels unbearable to those who know they've been seen. Because deep down, the liar realizes they're standing in front of someone who already knows. This quiet awareness isn't arrogance, it's emotional precision. The INFJ understands that words are defense mechanisms. People lie not to deceive others, but to protect themselves. That's why they don't confront right away. They observe patterns, energy, tone. They give people the chance to reveal themselves voluntarily, and they always do. Silence gives them enough rope to show their real motives. It's not about catching someone, it's about understanding them. The INFJ's silence isn't punishment, it's revelation. They've learned that truth doesn't need to be forced out, it leaks out under the weight of calm perception. And that's what makes their quiet so unnerving. It exposes without effort. Because while others argue and accuse, the INFJ simply listens. And in that stillness, people unravel. They confess through tone, reveal themselves through contradiction, expose their nature through the energy they can't hide. The INFJ doesn't need to say a word. Their silence does all the talking. They sense energetic tension long before conflict appears. The room may look calm, but the INFJ already feels the storm brewing. Before words are spoken, before tempers flare, they've already sensed it. The shift in tone, the subtle edge in someone's voice, the invisible weight pressing against the air. Most people call it intuition. The INFJ calls it awareness. Their empathy isn't just emotional, it's energetic. They don't wait for arguments to start, they feel them forming beneath the surface. They pick up the vibrations others ignore. The nervous glance between coworkers, the fake laugh masking irritation, the sudden stiffness in the atmosphere. Where others see smiles, the INFJ sees tension hiding behind them. It's like emotional radar, detecting discomfort before anyone admits it's there. They don't need drama to confirm it. Their body already reacts. A heaviness in the chest, a quiet knowing that something is off. The INFJ doesn't confront it immediately. They observe. They test the energy by staying quiet, watching who avoids eye contact, who overcompensates with forced cheer, who withdraws into silence. Conflict reveals itself through energy long before words. And while everyone else is caught off guard later, the INFJ is already 3 steps ahead, mentally preparing for what's coming. Their sensitivity isn't weakness, it's foresight. It's how they protect themselves and others. They know when to speak softly and when to step back, when to comfort and when to let space breathe. Because they understand tension, unacknowledged, turns into explosion, and they've learned to read those signals like second nature. People often don't realize how much the INFJ notices. They think they're good at hiding emotions, but the INFJ feels every drop of unease, every crack in the mask. They can sense the argument behind the smile and the resentment behind the compliment. And when they go quiet, it's not confusion, it's confirmation that something deeper is shifting. That's their quiet gift, seeing conflict before it's visible, feeling truth before it's spoken. They move through life reading vibrations instead of voices. And by the time everyone else wonders what went wrong, the INFJ already knew, because the energy always tells the truth before the people do. They mirror truth back subtly, forcing others to face their own behavior. The INFJ doesn't expose people by calling them out, they do it by reflecting them. It's quiet, precise, almost surgical. They simply hold emotional space so still that others begin to see their own reflection in it. Someone lies and the INFJ doesn't argue, they just respond with calm sincerity. Someone tries to manipulate and the INFJ answers with grounded truth. That contrast alone makes the other person's falsehood vibrate in the air like static. They don't fight energy, they mirror it. That's the secret to their power. While others react, the INFJ reflects. They give people the exact tone, energy, and presence they bring into the interaction, nothing more, nothing less. It's not revenge, it's awareness. They become the mirror of your own behavior. And for people hiding behind facades, that's terrifying because suddenly the lies sound loud, the pretense feels heavy, the act stops working. Their calm energy exposes what chaos tries to hide. A fake person expects the INFJ to engage in games to compete for emotional control, but the INFJ doesn't play. They just observe with clarity so sharp it feels like truth itself. And that's what unravels people. When someone's actions no longer get the reaction they expect, their identity starts to crack. The INFJ's steady mirror shows who they really are, and for many, that reflection is uncomfortable. It's not manipulation, it's emotional intelligence in motion. The INFJ understands that truth doesn't need to be shouted, it only needs to be reflected clearly. They know that when you hold still long enough, dishonesty reveals itself. So they remain calm, centered, and kind, not because they're naive, but because they know that truth, when mirrored, always wins. What makes this so powerful is how natural it is. The INFJ doesn't even realize they're doing it most of the time. Their empathy tunes in to others' emotional frequency and reflects it back with precision. The insecure feel their own unease. The kind feel seen. The manipulative feel exposed. Because when you stand in front of someone who mirrors truth without ego, you can't hide behind illusion anymore. The INFJ doesn't have to expose you, you end up exposing yourself. They stay calm while others unravel under their quiet awareness. The INFJ's calm is not the absence of emotion, it's the mastery of it. When tension rises, when masks start slipping, they don't flinch. They don't rush to defend or attack, they simply observe. Their stillness unsettles people who thrive on control, because the INFJ's lack of reaction removes the power from manipulation. The more someone tries to provoke them, the quieter they become, and that silence becomes unbearable. People expect emotional feedback. They expect arguments, defense, noise, but the INFJ doesn't give them that satisfaction. They meet chaos with composure, lies with patience, arrogance with neutrality, and slowly the other person starts to crack. Their voice gets sharper, their explanations longer, their excuses thinner, because when deceit meets calm awareness, it can't survive for long. The truth starts to surface on its own. This is the INFJ's quiet advantage. They don't fight energy, they stabilize it. Their emotional intelligence acts like an anchor in a storm. While others spiral into defensiveness or guilt, the INFJ remains steady, their gaze unwavering, their presence heavy with knowing. And the more peaceful they remain, the more exposed everyone else feels. Calm energy reveals what chaos hides. They've learned that staying composed doesn't mean surrender. It means control. It means they refuse to be pulled into emotional manipulation. They don't match people's volatility. They outlast it. Their awareness becomes a mirror. Their silence a truth serum. Those trying to deceive or dominate suddenly feel small, transparent, and strangely vulnerable. Not because the INFJ said anything, but because they didn't need to. It's psychological precision. Their stillness creates a pressure that forces authenticity. The liar stumbles, the pretender fidgets, the arrogant overcompensates. And through it all, the INFJ stays grounded, watching with that quiet half smile that says, "I see more than you think." That's the paradox. Their peace is the very thing that exposes people. While others lose balance trying to maintain illusions, the INFJ stands firm in truth. They don't need to raise their voice or prove their insight. Their awareness alone does the work. Because in a world that mistakes noise for power, the INFJ proves something deeper. Real strength is silent, and it always makes the loudest minds unravel. Their empathy turns into emotional X-ray vision, seeing motives, not masks. For the INFJ, empathy isn't softness, it's sight. What others call being sensitive, the INFJ calls data collection. Their empathy scans through words, tone, and silence like an emotional X-ray. They don't just feel what you feel, they see why you feel it. While people wear masks polished by charm and confidence, the INFJ is already reading the emotion pulsing beneath: insecurity, fear, ego, or guilt. They don't judge it, they just know. It's not magic, it's emotional pattern recognition at a master level. The INFJ has spent years absorbing energy from people, decoding what's genuine and what's performance. Over time, their intuition sharpened into instinct. Now, when they walk into a room, they instantly register who's authentic, who's hiding pain, and who's pretending to be someone they're not. It's all in the energy, the pauses between words, the eyes that avoid connection, the smile that doesn't reach the soul. People often think they're hard to read, but to an INFJ, motives are transparent. They sense when kindness has an agenda, when apologies are calculated, when flattery is camouflage. And the most unnerving part, they never say a word about it. They simply adjust their energy, pulling back when someone's intentions feel wrong, leaning in when they sense sincerity. Their silence becomes their filter. That's what makes their empathy powerful. It's not emotional absorption anymore, it's discernment. They no longer drown in other people's emotions, they analyze them. What once overwhelmed them now informs them. Their empathy has evolved from feeling with people to understanding through them. It's emotional intelligence turned into precision, reading motives before they turn into manipulation. And that's what disarms people the most. They can't lie to someone who feels the truth before it's spoken. The INFJ doesn't need to expose anyone. Their energy alone reveals what's real. Because when someone with a pure heart and a clear mind looks straight at you, the mask you wear becomes irrelevant. Their empathy is their vision, their silence is their weapon, their understanding is their power. And while others navigate the surface, the INFJ walks through layers, seeing motives, not masks, and truths no one dares to say out loud. They withdraw their energy, and people's true intentions surface on their own. When an INFJ pulls back, everything becomes clear. Their absence is louder than confrontation, sharper than words. They don't argue, they don't accuse, they simply disconnect. And that's when the truth begins to show. The people who were genuine stay curious, grounded, and kind. The ones who were using the INFJ's energy to feel seen, they grow restless, defensive, even angry. Because when the INFJ stops feeding the connection, masks start to fall off on their own. Their withdrawal isn't coldness, it's clarity. The INFJ gives freely, emotionally and energetically, until they notice the balance start to tilt. They can feel when someone's pulling from them instead of growing with them. And instead of calling it out, they retreat into quiet. They watch, they observe what happens when their light stops shining on someone. Do they reach out with care or resentment? Do they miss the person or the attention? The reaction tells the truth every time. This is where the INFJ's strength lies, in detachment with purpose. They don't disappear to punish, they disappear to see. Silence reveals what words disguise. When their energy fades from someone's life, the authentic stay soft, but the manipulative start to crumble. The ones who depended on emotional control can't stand not being able to read or provoke the INFJ anymore. That's how their quiet becomes exposure. The beauty of this gift is that it's effortless. The INFJ doesn't plot, they don't strategize, they just stop overgiving. They stop explaining, fixing, soothing, and the moment they do, people's real character emerges. You learn who valued your soul and who only valued your supply. You learn who loved your essence and who just loved your presence. That's why the INFJ doesn't chase answers. They know time and distance always reveal truth. By stepping back, they turn the stage lights off, and in that sudden darkness, everyone's motives glow. The fake fade, the real remain. Because when an INFJ withdraws, they don't create distance. They create revelation. Their silence becomes a test. No one realizes they're taking until the results appear in their own behavior. And by the end, there's no guessing left. The truth always surfaces because it no longer has their energy to hide behind. They never expose with words. Life itself confirms what they already knew. The INFJ doesn't need to prove they were right. They've learned that truth always finds a way to surface, with or without them. When they sense deception or manipulation, they don't rush to expose it. They go quiet. They step back. They let time do the talking. Because they understand something most people don't. Life always delivers the truth in perfect timing. They've seen it too many times. The person who lied eventually contradicts themselves. The one who pretended to care suddenly shows their true colors. Patterns unfold, connections crumble, and masks fall, not through confrontation, but through revelation. The INFJ doesn't interfere, they simply wait. Their silence becomes alignment with reality, while the fake continues spinning stories that eventually collapse under their own weight. It's not about revenge or pride, it's about peace. They know that exposing someone only feeds their drama, but silence cuts deeper, because when you stop defending your truth, the universe starts doing it for you. The INFJ's detachment becomes the stage where everyone's actions perform the truth they once denied. And when it all unfolds, they don't feel satisfaction, they feel confirmation, that quiet, knowing peace of, I already saw this coming. People often mistake their calm for passivity, but it's actually discipline. The INFJ doesn't need validation. They trust the process of truth. They understand that lies require maintenance, but authenticity sustains itself. So while others waste energy proving points, the INFJ invests energy in peace and lets time prove them right. And it always does. Maybe not immediately, but one day the truth walks through the door wearing the same face that once denied it. The INFJ won't gloat or say, "I told you so." They'll just smile softly because they knew all along. They didn't need to win the argument. They already understood the ending. That's their quiet strength. They never expose with words because reality always reveals what they already knew. While others chase justice, the INFJ practices patience because they've learned time is the most honest witness. And when truth finally unfolds, it speaks louder than anything they could have ever said. An INFJ doesn't need to expose anyone. They just need to stay true to what they feel, because sooner or later, life reveals everything they sensed in silence. That's the beauty of their intuition. It doesn't shout, it simply waits. People eventually show who they are, and when they do, the INFJ's calm knowing becomes the loudest truth in the room. They don't need revenge. They don't need validation. Their peace is proof enough, because when you walk in truth, time itself becomes your ally. And masks can't survive in the presence of authenticity. If you've ever stayed silent and watched the truth unfold exactly as you felt it would, you understand this power. It's not pride, it's alignment. It's the calm of someone who knows they don't need to fight to be right. Before you go, make sure to subscribe to BRAINY 1, where we uncover the hidden psychology, intuition, and emotional intelligence of the INFJ mind, the kind that doesn't explode with words, but with presence. And if you've watched until now, comment, "My silence reveals everything," below, so I'll know you're one of the rare ones who understands that sometimes saying nothing exposes everything.